Mercy there was great and grace was free. Pardon there was multiplied to me. There my burdened soul found liberty at Calvary.
Well, good morning. It's good to see you. Everybody doing well? Yes. So half of you are doing well, half of you not. I'll tell you what, it's good to see you today. Good to be here, and I want to thank all of our Sunday school teachers for teaching God's Word this morning, and I want to welcome our guests, welcome all of our visitors. If you're visiting with us for the first time, thank you for being a part of Start Baptist Church, but we don't...
Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one, both in power and in grace, the name above all other names. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. With all that I am, with all that I have, I will worship you, Jesus alone. There's no other God, no other one, whose love I can depend upon.
culture. And I believe that all of us in this room today, we've been impacted by divorce one way or another. Maybe some of us have gone through a divorce. Maybe some of us have mothers or fathers or family members who have gone through divorce. And somehow, somewhere along the way, I believe maybe we've gotten this idea that marriage is about our own self-fulfillment, our own desires, our own passions. Maybe we believe that marriage is about our happiness. And I believe that when we are not fulfilled, when we are not happy in our marriages, it just seems like divorce is a viable option. But that's because of the way we've made it, not the way God has made it. And so I want us to understand that today. And I believe it is because of sin that today we are seeing marriages on the rocks. We are seeing marriages fall apart. It's because of sin. You see, we failed to obey God in many areas, including marriage. You see, marriage is just one of the areas where we've been disobedient to God. We've been disobedient to God in many areas, and marriage is suffering because of our disobedience. So let's look at Mark chapter 10. We're going to conclude our series on the book of Mark, on the Gospel of Mark, and I want us to look at it very clearly, what Jesus has to say about divorce. So look at what Jesus says in verse 3. He says, "What did Moses command you?" He replied. And they said, "Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and send her away." Look at verse 5. Look at Jesus' words about divorce. "It was because your hearts were hard that Moses wrote this law," Jesus replied. "But at the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and will be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate." Listen to this. In God's creation design, we see intimacy between the husband and the wife. An intimacy like no other relationship. What does it say? It says the man will leave his mother and father and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Do you see that? The intimacy in marriage that God gives us, it is between a man and a woman, and it is so that they become one flesh, one in spirit, one in unity, one with God. But we also see this. We see the permanence in the marriage relationship. The permanence in marriage relationship like no other relationship. Jesus said this, "Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate." So you see, God, He created marriage as a blessing. He created marriage in unity. He created it for intimacy. He created it for permanence. And God is not the one who messed marriage up. We did that. You just need to stop where you are. And you need to see God, and you need to repent of that sin. Repent of that sin. Give it to God and embrace His forgiveness, embrace His grace, His mercy, and His love on your life. And allow Him to purify you from all unrighteousness. Allow Him to pour the righteousness of Christ out upon you so that you can be who God created you to be. Listen, today, if you're in the midst of sin in a marriage relationship, repent of that sin and be obedient to the Word of God. If you have come out of a divorce, maybe you're in a new marriage, listen, be obedient to God in that new marriage. Be repentant in that new marriage. Be willing to allow God to mold you and shape you and fashion you and form you, and know that God can bring you blessings in that marriage. And that God can use you, continue to use you to make a difference in the world you live in, even in that marriage and in sin. If you're in sin today, please understand, sin is what separates us from God. Sin is what hardens the heart. Sin is what takes the attitude and turns it in an opposite direction of God. It's sin and sin alone. And until you repent, until you confess and repent that sin before God, you are going to continue to have a hard heart. And you're going to continue to have a bad attitude about anything and everything in life. And that is no way to live. And you don't have to live that way. Because Jesus died for you. He died so that you could have life. And have it abundantly. Let's pray.